So now that we're back at the review item sheet, we're going to take a look at some other things that we can do with the missed testing. So now if you look, we have all the test items here, and if you look at the answered column, you'll see two blue dots. You'll also notice gray buttons, blue buttons, and blanks. The gray button, as you can see here, means no answer is required. For example, the directions for using Miss Screen gives us helpful information, but we don't need to answer anything on this screen. The blue buttons, meanwhile, are the questions we've already answered. Sometimes, like question 1 earlier, we can answer a question and also flag or mark it for review later. Finally, any question that has a blank means we have not answered that question yet. Are there any questions? When we take a short test like the practice test, we can easily see all of our questions on this one page. When we have a longer test with lots of questions, it's often easier to use one of these other tabs, the unanswered tab or the flagged for review tab. You can see these tabs at the top of the table. Let's click on the unanswered right now. Now we see a list of questions that we skipped earlier and still need to answer. We also see any unanswered questions that we flagged or marked for review. Just like on the earlier All Items tab, you can double click on a question and go directly to the question, or you can select the item and go to the Go To Item button on the bottom. Go to one of your unanswered questions now, and then we're going to review this item. So if we double click on this one, this is one of the questions that we flagged and did not answer. And immediately now we're going to go back to the review tab. And this takes us back to the review your item screen. Now, let's go to this tab here, the flagged for review. If we click on the flagged for review tab, we should see now a list of all the questions that we flagged or marked for review earlier. The screen also tells us if these questions have been answered or not. Let's go to one of the flagged questions now by clicking on it and Go To Item. And remember, another way you can do it is by double clicking on it. And you can see that that takes us to one of the questions that we flagged. Now let's go back to our review button. We'd like you to use the Review Your Items screen as much as possible. And the All Items tab, and the Unanswered tab, and the Flagged for Review tab to complete the student practice test when we give you a chance to do so. We'd also like you to practice using the scroll bar, as you can see right here, and the zoom in and zoom out buttons. We'd also like you to keep in mind that this practice test that you're about to take later on is not scored, and it's okay not to know the correct answer. Now, what we're going to do is go back to our review button, and we're going to answer this flagged question. And we're going to take the green flag off of it because now we feel good about this answer. Go back to our review button again. In our unanswered tab, we have one question that remains to be answered. We can double click on this, or the Go To item is fine too. Let's double click on it. And let's answer C. And now we're going to show you how to finish. You're going to click the green button to finish on the right side of your screen. Now, if you accidentally click the finish button, you don't need to panic. Because over here on the left-hand side, you can click the Back to Test button, and you will go back to the Review Your Item screen. Now, we're really going to finish this test. If you click the green Finish button again, this time we're going to exit. When we click the Exit button, it says that our test has been submitted, and we can click to close. And once you click to close, you're back to the original screen that we began on. And that concludes the navigation for the online testing. You will have an opportunity to run through this practice test and use all those tools with the assistance of a teacher. And you'll also have an opportunity to get a feel for how you're going to enter the computer lab, where you'll sit, what your username and password card will look like, all the necessary keys and ingredients that we're going to need to have a successful online MEAP testing.